allowed all three of father's companions to enter eyes. He gradually reduced his speed until he came to a complete halt. He pulled away slightly, prompting me to lift my gaze. "They're here," he remarked, his demeanor as composed as always. At this moment, the true excitement begins. In an instant, he departed, stepping forward to meet them. Before we dive in, a quick note: many of you who appreciate these videos have yet to subscribe. If you find yourself among them, kindly take a moment to press that button. It significantly contributes to channel growth and holds more value than you might realize. If you are already a subscriber, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you. Let us commence. Rick's hands gripped my waist with a steady assurance as he pressed against me, each movement measured and intentional, as if time itself had paused for us. I found myself perched on the kitchen counter, my dress bunched up, drawn tightly against him, my breath caught in a delicate struggle to remain silent. The sounds of the game echoed through the living room, where my dad and his friends erupted in cheers and shouts, their excitement palpable just 20 feet away. Rick stood as one of my father's dearest companions, older and more reserved, yet there was nothing about him that suggested uncertainty. He moved with unwavering steadiness, his focus sharp, each motion deliberate, every shift imbued with a sense of mastery. He moved with the deliberate grace of someone who understood the art of savoring each moment, and that was precisely what captivated me. His breath whispered against my ear. "You enjoy this, don't you?" he murmured, his voice gravelly and soft. "The peril." Words eluded me. I grasped his shoulders tightly, nodding in silence, struggling to suppress any sound as he drew nearer. His concentration sharpened, assured and steadfast. The counter groaned softly under our weight, his hold unwavering as he anchored me firmly in position. I wished for him to continue. The clinking of ice against glasses, the melody of laughter, and the ebb and flow of conversation from the living room only intensified the atmosphere, for better or worse. I found myself at a loss for clarity. My dad stood nearby, accompanied by his friends, while I found myself entwined with one of them, a connection I never wished to sever. I pressed my hand to my mouth, my breath quivering, struggling to maintain my composure. His focus remained unwavering. He appeared even more captivated by the intimacy of our proximity. In that moment, he became utterly still. I glanced upward, my breath catching in my throat. Tom lingered in the doorway, a longtime friend of my father's, the most boisterous of the trio, perpetually ready with a quip. Now utterly still, Rick sprang upright, his body instinctively responding to the sudden jolt. "Go," he murmured. I slipped off the counter, my heart racing, a warm pulse coursing beneath my skin. I rushed up the stairs. I reclined on my bed, warmth radiating through me, my dress adhering to my legs. My heartbeat remained unyielding, the energy continued to thrum beneath my skin. The echoes of the game resonated from the lower floor. After some time, soft footsteps echoed in the stillness, the creak of the front door as it swings open, followed by the soft thud as it closes once more. They had vanished. Yet, what Rick initiated, I could still sense it all around me. On the following day, shortly after midday, a message from Tom arrived. "You appeared quite striking last night. Seeking something even more exceptional?" A warmth enveloped me as I recalled the way he had gazed at me in the kitchen. The smirk lingered in the air, the silence stretched between them as he turned and walked away, words unspoken. He had kept it from my dad, hadn't uttered a single word. Yet, in that moment, he spoke the very words I had longed to hear. "Stop by, and I promise it will be worth your while." He had always possessed a daring spirit. The most boisterous of the trio. Just kidding, playful banter. Perpetually challenging the boundaries. Yet now, it seemed transformed, sharp and direct. Director. As if he anticipated my agreement. Indeed, he was correct. I found myself drawn to older men. Particularly those akin to my father's companions. Men who moved through life with an air of confidence, as if nothing was beyond their reach. Men who invite you into their world. Rick had ignited a flame within me. However, I was on the verge of fanning it. I made no effort to offer excuses. I informed my father that I had some errands to attend to. Then I dressed myself, allowing instinct to guide my choices. Something straightforward, a laid-back vibe. The journey was brief. The roads are but a distant memory to me, merely the soft, persistent thrum within my chest. The relentless tug that had persisted since the previous night. The sensation of my legs wavering beneath me was palpable, the moment his name appeared on my screen. As I drove into the driveway, I noticed the front door slightly ajar. He lingered in anticipation. I entered the room and closed the door softly behind me. Tom reclined on the couch, one arm draped casually across the back. He observed me as if he had been anticipating this moment all along. He remained expressionless. Remained silent, merely stood there. Strolled over. He encircled my waist with his hands, as if we were revisiting a familiar dance. His lips brushed against mine before I had the chance to draw in a breath. Not a moment of doubt lingered. Only warmth, direct and concentrated. I leaned closer to him. My fingers clutched his shirt while his hands drew me nearer, until my back collided with the door. Garments were shed in a swift manner. His fingers navigated each clasp as if he had committed them to memory. The fabric cascaded to the ground, silent as a whisper. As I extended my hand toward it, his shirt disappeared into thin air. Everything unfolded at a measured pace, merely unavoidable. I stepped forward once more, yet he halted me softly, placing a hand on my shoulder. "Slow," he said, his voice a calm whisper, unwavering and deliberate. He led me downward. I sank down onto the rug, his hand resting lightly yet confidently on my shoulder. I required no guidance. I had already grasped his intentions. I desired it with equal fervor. I leaned in, surrendering to the pull of instinct. His breath caught softly, fingers weaving through my hair with a sense of assurance, not dominance. I established the rhythm with intention, measured and cautious initially, observing his responses and attuning to the shifts in his breath. Silence enveloped us, yet the air crackled with an unmistakable tension. Each movement of his form, every delicate breath drawn in. I modified my approach, increasing the intensity, varying the rhythm, observing his reactions closely. His jaw tightened, his gaze fixed on me, his entire being leaning into the intensity of the moment. As he finally drew me back up, I noticed the uneven rise and fall of his chest. Silently, he lifted me into his embrace. I chuckled quietly, taken by surprise, my breath hitching as he lifted me effortlessly, as if I were weightless. The corridor faded into a haze, yet the tension crystallized. The door to the bedroom stood ajar. He pressed on, unwavering. As soon as I settled onto the mattress, he was there, calm and confident, not in a rush, just certain. His hands glided over my thighs as he knelt beside the bed, parting them with a serene, measured grace before leaning in closer. I arched with instinctive grace. He began with a gentle caress, almost imperceptible, eliciting responses from the slightest of motions. He shifted subtly, maintaining just the right amount of uncertainty to keep me on my toes. He shifted his rhythm before I had the chance to find my footing, adjusting the pressure, meticulously examining each area with careful focus. I found it impossible to remain motionless. My fingers entwined in the fabric of the sheets. He consistently eluded my expectations, perpetually a step ahead, skillfully luring me deeper into his world. As he ascended, a tremor coursed through me. He loomed above me, one hand resting at my waist, the other propped beside my head. When our bodies intertwined, it unfolded with a deliberate grace. He approached me with a calm assurance, each movement purposeful and fluid. I clung to his arms as he discovered a rhythm that intensified the tension, yet never shattered it. He then recalibrated the angle, altering the pattern. My spine curved, breath caught in my throat, the world constricting around me. He exuded not only confidence but also an unmistakable precision. He perceived my responses and adjusted without hesitation. Not by chance, but with intention. It was successful. His name slipped from my lips in a hushed breath before I even understood what I had done. He smiled against my neck, as if that moment had been the culmination of all his anticipation. His rhythm shifted once more, becoming slower and more deliberate, drawing me deeper with every movement. I grasped the headboard, striving to maintain my balance, yet the tension continued to escalate. It nearly slipped by unnoticed. Merely a delicate knock, akin to a gentle tap. Tom froze in place. He pressed his lips to my collarbone, a fleeting moment of intimacy, before rising silently, leaving the air thick with unspoken words. I observed him retreat, my heart pounding in my chest. They had arrived. Upon entering the room, they positioned themselves by the bed, exuding an air of tranquility and poise. Awkwardness was absent, no hesitation. Only existence. I rose gradually, my breath still unsteady, and locked eyes with them. Silence enveloped the room. I eased myself to the brink of the mattress, descending onto my knees with a deliberate grace. Tom advanced with purpose. I extended my hand toward him, my fingertips gliding along his thighs as I drew closer. His breath escaped, sharp and hushed, as one hand grazed my cheek. Rick settled in next to him. I greeted him with effortless grace, one hand reaching out to him while the other maintained its steady cadence. I moved with a delicate rhythm, shifting my attention between them, responding to their gestures and the subtle shifts in their breathing. Last to enter, Gary made his way inside. I gazed up at him, then leaned closer, placing a gentle kiss just above his hip. His hand rested on my shoulder, gentle yet resolute. I continued the movement, weaving between them, sustaining the cadence as their bonds began to fray. As they hoisted me up, a tingling sensation coursed through my entire being. Tom and Rick coordinated their movements flawlessly, one supporting me beneath my arms, the other cradling my knees. They eased me onto the bed as if I were merely a whisper of breath and a flicker of warmth. As soon as I found my place, Gary slipped between my legs. At last, it's my turn, he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. I remained silent, simply bided my time. He leaned in gently, his hand resting at my hip while the other supported my knee, making subtle adjustments to my position. I clutched the sheets tightly as he started to move, deliberate and steady, drawing me into his rhythm effortlessly. Tom bent closer, his lips hovering near my collarbone, his breath whispering against my skin. Rick knelt beside me, gently tucking a strand of hair behind my ear as he leaned in closer once more. I revealed myself to him without a moment's pause. Gary stood unwavering. His movements remained composed and unwavering. Tom's lips descended, a tantalizing warmth gliding over my skin. Rick drew my hand toward him, silently leading me in. I found myself enveloped. Fingers intertwine, lips whisper, air dances, bodies sway. I lost count. I had no desire to. As Gary withdrew, the transition was effortless. Tom and Rick shifted once more, hoisting me into the air. One supported my back, while the other cradled my legs, and they gently lowered me onto Tom with a deftness born of experience. Instinctively, I enveloped him in my embrace. He was fully prepared. Then Rick entered from behind. His hands settled on my hips, anchoring me in position. The aftermath unfolded with a deliberate weight, each moment dragging with a palpable heaviness. A sharp intake of breath escaped me. A swift breath of wind, silent as the night. My head fell back against Rick's shoulder as the movement between us settled into a single, unwavering rhythm. I found myself in a state of being held. Deeply affected. Enveloped. My breath shattered. Heart pounding, all was entwined within theirs. As they gently lowered me once more, a shiver coursed through my body. Yet Gary was already there, reclining, poised for what was to come. I ascended over him, my palms pressing against his chest, my legs trembling beneath me. He grasped my hips, anchoring me as I started to sway in rhythm with him. A slow, undulating cadence that intensified with each transition. Tom followed closely behind me. His hands wrapped around my waist, grounding me as he leaned in nearer. Every shift he made intensified the tension that hung between Gary and me. Then Rick advanced with purpose. He extended his hand toward me. I embraced him once more, drawing him into our shared cadence, every single one. In unison. The thought slipped away, leaving no trace behind. Time elongated. I released all that I held onto. Each breath, each sound, every fiber of my being was enveloped by them. I was indifferent to the boundaries between one and the other. Gary took the lead. His breath hitched, fingers clenching more firmly as his form froze in place. Tom trailed behind, his pace uneven, a soft murmur brushing against my shoulder before he came to a halt. Rick drew back, his breath faltering, his eyes fixed on mine as the world around us fell into silence. A hush enveloped the surroundings. I fell against Gary, my body weary, my lungs gasping for breath. My limbs felt utterly powerless. My skin tingled and radiated warmth. Silence enveloped the room. They encircled me, attentive, steady, vigilant. I lingered in my spot, eyelids heavy, uncertain of how long I had been there. In that moment, I sensed it. A comforting hand rested gently at my waist. A movement in my wake. A familiar presence, drawing closer with a deliberate, measured grace, exuding confidence and assurance. I opened my eyes. The conclusion had yet to arrive. I unleashed my full intensity. I poured forth all that I possessed. They ensured it was not squandered. Speak truthfully. Do you long to be present as well? What would you find yourself engaged in, if that were the case? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I shall immerse myself in the pages of a book. Before you depart, remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and activating notifications through the bell icon, ensuring you stay updated for what's next. Thank you for tuning in. Until we meet again.